What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, this is what I received from a girl on online dating. How would you respond as an opener? Exactly.
Well, I don't like pineapple on pizza. I'll tell you that. Anchovy on pizza, even worse. I cannot do that either. I think it creates for interesting conversation because it's already a controversial topic. I'm like, no, I don't want that. Da 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 da. And she could probably respond with da 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 da. And it's a good opener, I would think. But I have a clear answer, and that is, I do not like pineapple on pizza.
That you would write back to her.
Exactly. That's what I would say. Something like that. Various ways. But every girl will decide, oh my god, what is it with pineapple on pizza?
I think I would follow it up with another question. I'd be like, you said pineapple. What about strawberries? And leave it at that as a question mark and send that. So that way I'm not even giving an answer. I'm asking a question on the question because I don't know where this is heading and in which regard it's meant. So I'm like, why not throw another curveball right back at the person?
I think open are getting really important, and because when I used to do online dating, in the beginning I always had this typical hi, how is it going? Hi, how are you doing? How was your day? And once a good friend of mine, she showed me her profile on those online dating app, and there were like 300 plus, man, and you always had this hi, 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 hi. And she told me, if someone starts like that, I even don't respond. It's not creative enough, it's kind of, so this, I think you need to stick out, and she said she also don't like this silly ones, but she kind of likes something like which brings the attention, and she's willingness to write back, like, oh, this was kind of cute, smart effort, So what I started to do is I looked at pictures and said, oh, hey, your third pictures at that beach, it sounds really interesting. Where was that? So already kind of looks like you like to travel. And if she is kind of in that interest of traveling, which I am, you always have kind of a good starting point, right? That's what I learned when my early days of online dating.
It's like you're paying attention.
Exactly, paying attention. You're not just like the guy who switch to the profile quickly and say, hi, next, hi. So really, he put some effort in and really actually looked at my picture and has questions about that. Or profile, maybe someone writes a profile, that you really read it,
I'm going to ask a dumb question, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, so just for the audience, for you guys to know, I have least knowledge about the online dating and platforms, but I'm still going to ask a question from our wizards over here. So you're saying that you prefer being a clown, as the person is saying, because if you have to make the person laugh or put an effort in, you're not really being yourself. Or
what has it to do with being a clown?
You didn't say clown. It just means pay attention more to the profile.
Exactly. It's not that you make.
But then you're spending, let's say, 20 seconds or let's say a minute on a profile, right? Let's assume that. That's my assumption, and you can correct me because I'm just making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
And you're saying a person, let's say she got like 300 connections or 500, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
She's not spending more than a second on your comment. So like you put in a lot of time on there, but that person's not even doing that time. So how is that? I'm not seeing the connection. So
that's the difference on online platform being a man or woman. That's how it is. No, really. I mean, if you look at men profiles versus women profiles, you don't have 300 plus.
I know someone. I'm not going to say.
Well, then he's a lucky guy.
I guess so. I don't know.
100 plus connections.
Wow, I don't know.
Because you just swipe.
I don't know.
100 plus connections.
He's a lucky guy.
100 plus connections. By the way, I'm not going to name him. 100 plus connections, and people are reaching out to him, and there's long sentences in there, like having a normal conversation.
Good.
So now
for that guy, then.
Yeah, lucky, and it's a very handsome guy.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I would just add on that I kind of relate dating to job application. When you seriously, when you send out a bunch of resumes on LinkedIn, well, that's what I do on LinkedIn. You're trying to apply. Well, I try to apply to as many jobs that I feel like.
Bulk apply.
yeah, bulkify, but also kind of cater it towards the job. Like you don't want to send a resume to a job that's you're not even gonna get it. But it's kind of like sending out a resume or a cover letter because you're trying to show to the job recruiter or the applicant that the applicant, which is me, like, hey, I'm a good fit for this role because da da da, this is on my resume, da 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 da, this is on my cover letter. So essentially, when you're swiping on these profiles, depending on the app that you're on, you have the option to either just like it or you have the option to like it and send a message. So that maybe the like could be the resume and that opening message could be the cover letter. That could be something to stand out from everybody else. And then from there, it's like you only have one, in terms of the job application, one document or one thing that you can send. So with the online dating, it's one message you can send. So I think if the like or the message as a job resume or cover letter, and then obviously the girl who's on the receiving end or the recruiter has a bunch of these resumes or a bunch of these likes in their queue to navigate through. So I've never reviewed resumes, so I don't know what their process is like, but I'm sure if they have hundreds of resumes, they don't have that much time throughout the day to really be looking at everything detail. Like they really have to look for certain keywords that stand out to them, because especially when they've gotten the gist of reviewing resumes, they have an idea of what to look for already. So it makes their process easier and easier. So like Porta Potty was saying, if there's a bunch of people that say like, hey, hi, they can already filter that out because they know, okay, maybe this is not worth my investment to really be looking in their profile. Because if you just send hey or hi, it tells me not. If I was in a girl's position, hey or hi doesn't tell me anything about them. The only thing I could tell
their profile. And
right, but some people they don't want to take that time, because especially when you get 300, I don't know, every day or every week or something, they're not going to be looking through profile every time. It's another step that they have to do. They just want to keep it easy. Like you don't want to do every step and make life more difficult than it is. People want things simple. So especially when you send out an opener line that's like, oh, pineapple on pizza, do you like that? Or like another thing about their profile, like, hey, you were talking about 2 truths and 1 lie. This one's a lie or this one's a truth. It opens up more conversation because it brings attention to the girl that, oh, hey, one, he actually read my profile, and one, he's actually saying something that is not just hey or hi. Like it's something that like he actually cares and he pays attention. So I think that's one thing that I think is how I view it as.
No, I think you made some really valid points, but it's a bit weird to hear. But again, I don't have that much experience, so I'm learning between the two of you guys. But like to hear it that the dating is like an online resume and like you're just like putting it like job applications. I think when we're interviewing, we're quite formal and we're not like in a playful state or like joking around or something.
Sure.
But I think what you guys are trying to say is that you're in a jokey state, but you're just doing a lot of paying a lot of attention to profiles and like trying to create a connection with them.
Yeah, you have one shot basically, right? Is it with your CV or is it with a message? Because we have so much opportunity those days, right? So many candidates. And I agree. I mean, I went through 500 CVs in the last 2 years. I know.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke.
Damn. Oh,
So-
we should have applied. Bro, available still.
More CV is there.
Yes,
This
yes.
guy.
Yeah, because and it's exactly that. I mean, I can spend maybe 5 minutes or less on one CV. I mean, but the first screen is really I look for those key things and then left, right. Right, so already can like 50-50.
Okay.
And then those other 50%, I take a little bit more time
Okay.
to go really through. But this is exactly because otherwise I would just look at CVs the whole day or the whole week, month, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the same with online dating, especially.
Yeah.
But of course, then that's the first step,
Yeah.
and then you need to keep being interested, like how you continue the conversation, right? So you need to then keep asking the right things, and there are different things. I mean, I learned a lot. I read a lot about that stuff, and sometimes I used to had situation where I was just texting with a girl for weeks.
Wow.
Weeks, and which I would never do again. It's too much waste of
You
time.
haven't met her before?
No, we just texting the whole time.
Why are you
It's weird.
texting so long?
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
what.
this
Yeah,
is the
that's
question.
yeah. But I was young.
Okay, oh,
I was
young.
young.
Younger. Now you
Younger.
man of multiple.
I was young and I needed to learn that, right? And I realized like I'm wasting my time basically, right? And with time, I don't use it anymore, but with time I went quicker to the point. Let's meet. I like to get to know you in real life rather than on the texting. And I don't know what your experience is, but I also had sometimes cases where it's on the texting you have way more time to think how you reply, right?
Okay.
And and then you always think about how will that person be in real life, right? It kind of gives you already kind of indicators. And then in real life, sometimes I had situation, it was such an opposite person. It was not at all those funny messages like which were in the online dating app. It was completely, I had the feeling another person standing up here. She looks the same,
Yes.
but it's completely a different person. So that's why I started to be more, hey, you sound really nice. I mean, I think we have some stuff in common. Let's grab a coffee or let's go for a walk or whatever, to get to know each other better. So that was one big experience I learned, right? So quicker to the point, not wasting your time, with texting too long, right?
No, that's
Because at the end you go on a date and say, I already asked you everything via
there's nothing left to talk about.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. What's about you?
Well, to keep you updated on what Porta Potty was saying, when you meet somebody for the first time and they're not who you think they are in terms of appearance, right?
Yes.
We call that catfish.
Oh, okay. Why is it called catfish?
I don't know.
Like
I never had that situation.
I'm not sure actually.
I never had that situation.
I haven't learned before.
I'm learning questions. But you see, a man is also catfish and a girl is also catfish.
A man can catfish. Yeah.
I know someone who did that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he was the same person, but he was a bit better in shape than he used
not
to be.
So much of a catfish.
But
okay, so what is catfish? Can you get
it's
a
a
few
different
examples?
person. Like you have a picture of a woman you find really attractive, whatever.
Yes.
Then you go there and the woman completely looks differently. It's not what you saw on the images. That's catfishing. And then they come like,
"What Ronaldo?" And then we're like, "Asian Ronaldo."
It's not Ronaldo.
So that's catfishing.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But this is also an important lesson. I mean, pictures. Some pictures you can really tell it's staged or like that's not really real. So I always look about real images, really, and more than one image, right? If you like 5-6 images.
You're a designer. So
I'm a
it's easy for
designer.
you,
That's
brother.
why I'm looking at this.
Yeah, he's got the eye. I look at it; they all look the same to me. I'm like, and then he might say fake, and I'm like, they look real.
With AI, it's now difficult, right? AI, you can make now so many good images, right?
Yeah.
But I think you
know
can
how to.
tell.
Yes,
I think you can
yes.
tell sometimes. I never had that catfishing situation.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
You had
Good
it?
luck.
You've had it? Yes. Please share.
I don't know. I don't remember any specific moment. Oh, actually, no, I do.
Yes,
Oh,
come
my
on.
Yeah, so one moment that I had, this was maybe probably 2 years ago, where I matched with somebody on, what was it, Bumble or something, and her profile looked really nice. She seemed attractive. She had like good topics about like travel, like food and stuff. Like, I want to explore the city. And I was like, let's try to set up like a date or something. And I think she wanted pizza or something, so I was like, okay, pizza is what we're gonna do. So I really try to pay attention to the profile, see what their interests are, and I try to go with that interest, like build on it more. So pizza was one thing she wanted. So when we were trying to set up a date, she's like, do you want to meet tonight? I was like, okay. So on the way there was one pizza place like she really liked. So I was like, let me just stop by there. It's like make your own pizza. So you kind of gotta. It's like when you go to like Chipotle, they give you like, here's the pie. What do you want to put on it? So it was like that. So I was like, okay, that's
Okay.
And then it was like, okay, pay. And then I got it. And I got it, the whole pie, kind of like Little Caesar size pizza slices. So I was carrying the pie on the way there to her place, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. A little bit nervous. I was like, I hope I don't like messed up, basically.
Okay. All right.
And when she opened the door, I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. Basically, when she opened the door, she was in her PJs. She kind of looked like she was just, what is it called? Like bed hair. Like bed hair is like when you just woken up.
Okay.
Like what you look like when you just wake up.
Okay,
Like it's
okay.
kind of all over the place.
Yes.
She kind of looked like she just wasn't. She didn't really put the effort in to be prepared for the date, I guess, or look presentable for the date.
Okay.
Because I was like, I try to, try to look the best that I can. And
Yes.
I think she was just like, oh, I'll just wake up and meet the guy.
Oh, sorry, that's
No, that's fine. Yeah, so that one was just very catfish because she just looked very different than what I was expecting from the profile. Because from the profile, she looked very presentable. She was like very outdoorsy, like hiking, like volleyball, stuff like that. And when I met her in person, she just looked completely different than what I thought. And then with what I saw with like the descriptions and stuff, I was like, okay, you can only build off of what you think they might be before you meet them. So I was like, okay, maybe she's like this type of person. Like maybe she's bubbly, fun, and stuff like that. And when I met her, she just seemed kind of lackadaisical, like laissez-faire. She's like, like she wasn't really giving much give.
bad for you, man.
She wasn't giving much give. Like I was trying to find topics and pulling it out of all different pockets that I have. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And then it
magician.
just
You're like,
magician,
and now
yeah.
we have rabbits. Oh no, it's not rabbits. It's a pigeon.
Right. And then for some reason we were watching like this movie. I forgot what movie it was. I paid more attention to the dog than her. She had a puppy on the bed. I was like, oh my god, you're so cute. What's your name? And then she was like, I think saying something. I was like, I really don't care. I was like, you're so cute. And then we just got somewhere where it just got political. I think it was about like abortion rights in Texas.
Okay.
And I guess I'm not too familiar about the abortion rights in Texas, but I think in Texas they don't allow for abortion.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really know that at the time, and I think I just said like some comment or like I wasn't knowledgeable, like I didn't know about that, and then she just made some comment like, "Oh, you really should pay more attention to the news," I think, or something like that. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware of it, but I'm like, how did we lead to this topic?
Yeah.
And I think from there, it kind of just, I was like, that is the tipping point. So at that point, I was just trying to find any excuse to leave. And I think she just wanted me to stay longer, but I was like, no, I can't. So I was like, let me just excuse myself because we finished pizza to the bathroom. And then after the bathroom, I'm like, okay, this is a nice introduction. Thank you for inviting me over. Pizza was good. The dog was so cute. But I will have to take my leave. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And she just looked disappointed. But I mean, hey, that was just one example of a catfish. Like I tried my best to not hurt her feelings because everybody could be sensitive. We don't know, but
after the pandemic,
definitely one good example of catfishing. And that was something I had to be more mindful of next time. Make sure that I really look at it in detail.
Oh, that's kind of okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
On that note, if porta potty, did you have any disasters that you would, let's say, bad dates that happened? Just to go from
Where should I start?
Oh, too many? Okay. Your top three then.
No,
if we've got options.
No, I have to say, I was always really lucky. I have to say. I mean, of course, you always have. You always have situations. You always have situations.
Sorry, edit that part. Go ahead. Yes. Yes, sir. Everything perfect.
No, I would say overall, I think I never got catfished. And I had good dates. Sometimes,
you're not good enough.
no, that's not has nothing to do. I think, no, absolutely not. I think
I have a chance.
This little.
at least it's something.
You go.
It's kind of distracting.
Go ahead.
No, I would say. I mean, of course, you had dates where you after the first date you kind of that's it. I mean, there's no. I think especially when you are in a date and then you always have to ask questions and nothing comes back. It's like, okay, it's a one-way channel here. What's going on, right? And you can say, yeah, it's nervosity, but it's not always about that. One experience I had was a lot for me. Was I was dating a girl, and she was really nice. We had a good time, and I really felt like she really liked me, and it was good. And for me, just she was talking all the time about her ex, all the time.
Okay.
And I even made a comment and I said, like, look, I it looks like you go through some stuff. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but you always kind of mention your ex. And then she didn't took that so well, I would say.
Okay.
She was like, yeah, but that's whatever, you know. And then she stopped talking about the ex, but then still, like 30 minutes later, she again.
Brought it up
Okay.
again. Okay.
And then I was like, okay, and stayed another couple of minutes, and then I said like, hey, it was really nice to meet you, and let's see. I mean, and went home.
Yeah.
And then next day, I was thinking a lot, and was like, I don't know, but if someone always talks about the ex, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. I mean,
Okay.
there's so many other topics you can ask in the first date, and I really tried and I addressed it, and I didn't feel comfortable enough. So I wrote her, hey, look, it was really nice meeting you. I had a great time, but I don't, some reasons I don't want to see you again, right? But I didn't told her why. I just told her, look, it's on my end. I don't want to, whatever. But I always try to be nice, right? And I did that. And she didn't accept that.
Okay.
And she really kept texting me, like really like, and I really tried to explain it again in a nice way. Really took the time and say, listen, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and then she didn't accept that, which and then she was like terror messaging me like at midnight, like ding 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 ding, message on message on message, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know, and then I said finally, like, look, okay, you want to have the straight honest. I wanted to be polite, but I don't like that you all the time talk about your ex. I told you to stop it, and you ignored me. That's disrespectful. I don't like that. I want to be polite. You keep texting me at midnight, which I think also in a way inappropriate. Sorry. And then, okay, bye. So this was really like a bit too much for me, you know, because I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to hurt feelings. And especially at the first date, I would understand it if you meet like a couple of times, but it's the first date.
It was just the first.
It was just the
been
first
like
date.
multiple dates.
No, it's just the first date.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's a bit too much. I mean, you don't even know me, and you act like we
created an impression
probably
on that person so well.
Yeah. So exactly. So like, why you hugged me then? So it was then a bit too much for me. But I really didn't want to hurt her feelings.
Okay.
So yeah. So this was my. Yeah, and this is not. I mean, there are other people that had worse experience for sure, but I think that's from me.
Okay.
That was
Okay, so tell me this, like, okay, and thanks for sharing that. It's kind of like interesting, and you know, now that you know that he's had none bad compared to your numerous, you know, that we've heard of.
Being a party.
You know, yes, you gotta learn from Porta Potty. He's got the skills. Look at the boy; he's smiling.
I'm just a poopy head that goes.
Yeah, he just falls through the cracks.
I just go through the cracks.
No.
Sorry, couldn't help it. That was too easy. Okay,
No.
but to ask you guys, like, when you guys have done your
For
online
the record, that's not the truth.
dating, yeah. Has it gone through the cracks? No, not yet. Okay. Have you guys, like, when you reached out to whichever women that you liked, or whichever gender you preferred, is it like long chats before you meet the person? Is it like what's your life cycle? Sorry to make it look oriented. When is the high or what is the talk to until you meet the person? How does it go, or how do you play it through it? Just talk about an example for both of y'all.
As someone that falls through the cracks a lot, I will say that I try to do it as early as possible. One of the reasons is because, for example, in Porta Potty's case, that one female friend who had 300 matches, she has to kind of bring down that list to a manageable size. And I feel like guys who are more like maybe upfront and like they kind of know what they're going for, like the guys that will take the charge and take the lead, or the ones I think will have a better chance of being able to secure a longer potential I won't say relationship, but like a connection with the girl than other guys. Because especially when you try to ask a girl out, well, I try to ask them out as early as possible, because I feel like a lot of people in general don't really like to keep it texting all the time.
Yes.
Especially when you have a lot of options out there, and say like maybe one guy's texting him, but it's not just one guy, it's also a bunch of other guys. So for her to respond to everybody, it's just too much. So I feel like if somebody takes the lead about like, hey, let me set up like this thing to where we can meet and chat, it puts the guy in a better position, because when they are able to meet, the girl doesn't have a bunch of other people to talk to. It's just her and him sitting in whatever location or date that they plan for, and he has more of her attention than in a texting position where if you have the phone so readily available, you also have access to all these other guys. But when you're in a day one-on-one, you have less access to everybody else, and it's really just you and her. So I really try to focus on trying to send a couple texts and then try to find a transition to where I could take that topic to a date format. So if they were saying like porta potty's case, like pineapple on pizza, I would be like, I could add like, why not we try strawberries on pizza, and maybe boom, that's it. There could be your transition to already set up
anything. So
that could be your transition to set up a date. I was like, well, I think that a pineapple on pizza is okay, but if you go to this place for me tomorrow, we could try strawberry on pizza, and maybe that might change your opinion about pineapple on pizza. So that already sets up the response, and also it already sets up
location.
it puts a location, and it also puts it in her plate now. So you're already putting that in her. I don't know the word, but in her decision now to make element to be like yes or no. Okay. Rather than just saying a response and I'm like, oh, she has to respond back, but it's just like she doesn't have to respond back. But now you're putting something in her position where she's in a greater ability to be like, okay, now I have to choose yes or no, rather than just responding to another comment. Then you have to do another exchange, so that takes a little bit longer. That's like an extra step now, but you already cut to the chase.
That's a good idea.
But I've seen a lot of guys just be like, hey, do you want to hook up? Or hey, do you want to meet? Yeah. But like there's no rapport. So like, why would a girl want to go out with you when she knows nothing about you? You're like, oh, let's go on a date, but who are you? I don't know. It's like a stranger asking you out, and you don't even know who they are. So girls really have to do, and it really sucks for them, because they really have to pay more attention to what they're putting themselves up to. Because for a girl, they're in a tougher situation, because especially when the guy invites her out to a place, they really have to check that location, because it could be the wrong address, it could be the wrong area, and to what is this guy actually like, because they are putting themselves in a potentially vulnerable and scary position, to where like, I don't know, like say if they want to invite her to a bar, and then they want to go back to her place or his place, you really don't know who the guy is. So it really is a risk for the girl to even go out there and meet him in the first place. And depending on who the guy is, she doesn't know what he could possibly do. So she always has to be on that kind of like, not, I wouldn't say defensive, but always just be cautious when she goes on dates, because especially when you meet somebody for the first time, the only thing you can really go on by is their profile and the first impression. And if she sees something that's like, okay, I like the ick. Yes. She gets the ick. She's like, okay, I can't go move forward with this. She has to be like, hey, that's it. And especially for when you have more options, I feel like you have a better opportunity to be more picky. So
It explains your connections.
we could also kind of get into the fact of more options has more situations than if
Okay.
you have less options.
Okay.
But basically, I think a girl with a lot of options has the ability to be more pickier and to be able to kind of pick and choose what she's going for. So
Okay.
I think it makes for an interesting conversation, and also it helps her in the case of, you know, avoiding situations that could end up being something worse than it can really be.
Okay, that's interesting. How about you, sir?
So I just wanted to add, I mean, I always meet in open spaces because I'm also afraid of going somewhere's houses for the first time. You never know if it's a real person. Maybe, I mean, it's a real person, but maybe someone else is behind, right? Because of catfishing.
Right.
So I never went to a woman's home before. I was not in a bar before or in a public space, because then I will know it's really that person, right? Because I think also you can be an easy target in those world, right? So that's just
an
me.
easy target? Meaning him and me, yes. But you?
It's a porta potty. Come on.
Yeah, that's
exactly, yeah.
People would like to use you for different reasons.
Yeah.
But go ahead, what about it?
So so that's just my comment, because I was always careful, but maybe
That's
that's
a
my
good-
Swiss side in me. The other thing, I mean, what you said, like how long that life circle is,
So,
it really depends. I mean, I used it for different reasons. I mean, I used it for having fun, and then I was way quicker with meeting people before.
bless you.
Sorry. Sorry. So then I was more into not long texting, right? Because it's not much about personality. I mean, of course, she needs to be a good character, trustful, and everything. But it's not that I maybe want to spend my life with that person.
Okay.
But if I was also, when I was looking for an online dating about the real case, I took more time, because dating is also exhausting, and it requires a lot of time. And especially as online dating, I was like every day on the app, every day. So it was a lot of time being on that app, you know. And then especially sometimes I had like 3 dates in a week, and let's by side about the cost, but the time you spend, it's a lot, right? In that time, you could also do other things.
Yeah.
So when I was looking for really the person for my life, I also spent a bit more time first to get to know the person. I ask a bit like questions. I was really keen of knowing the answers, like how certain things she looks at things, right? Do we have some interest together? And then it also helped me to sort out better, hey, okay, I would like to really spend time now with you on a date, because I think that could be a good match, rather than just dating without really get to know the person first, right? But that's what I said in the beginning. It can also then lead to too much. So you really need to find a gap, maybe after 2-3 weeks of, after a couple of days with breaks in between texting, and then say, hey, how about next weekend or whatever.
Okay.
And also what I learned is, in dating, I read that somewhere, it's really interesting about, as you said before, women really have to decide where they want to spend, which guys, because they have so many options. And don't say for men it's different, but if they make time available for you on their hot spots, like weekends, Friday nights, Thursday nights, then you know, okay, that's a good sign, because kind of she could also do something else at the time. She could spend time with her friends, family, but she decided on a Friday night she want to date you. You know, that's a good sign.
That is good.
But if a woman kind of like say, oh, let's do Monday morning. I mean, I have some 30 minutes time for a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, of course we're
squeezing
all
you in,
busy.
yeah.
Exactly. So, and this was also me. If a woman, especially like later on in dating, but if a woman really makes time available for you, I think this is a really good sign, right? That she's really interested in you, rather than just taking you for granted next to it. You know, or writing back. You know, if you don't have like a week in online dating, it's not such a good sign, because if she writes back within a day or 2 days, and then I think it's a better sign. And I'm a really, I you know those terms, playing games.
Yes.
I was never. I don't like that. But I know in online dating, it's a thing with playing games. Like don't writing back right away, waiting 3 days of writing back, and I think personally I found it always silly because if I like someone, I wrote back. If I have time, I write back. If I don't have time, I write back later. But I not intentionally wait 3 days now writing back. I mean, I'm a busy man. If I have time, I write it. If not, sorry. So
That's interesting. No, go ahead. Sorry.
no.
Okay, I was like, that's very interesting because I never knew about that. And just like about day before yesterday, I was just chatting with a friend of mine, and I was like, "Hey, I don't really know any of these." But she's like, "How do you not know? There's a books out there.
Oh
There's
yeah.
things out there that people have about it." And I'm like, "I guess I never went through,
Yeah.
so I don't really know." And she's like, "I can let you know multiple books." I'm like, "That's great. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do it. I'd rather just do it my way because that's me. I don't want to be someone else who I'm not." But it was a great knowledge. Like what you're talking about today, I would have not understood you if I didn't have the conversation with her who told me that, yes, there's books, there's podcasts, there's things like what time you respond back, by when you should respond back. If you take longer than this time, it shows you're not interested anymore. And I was like, no, I just did it based on convenience. Like I came from work home, I'm tired, so I slept. I want to be in a good frame of mind when I'm texting somebody rather than being like exhausted from work. And I had long 16 hours days. So I would text back maybe on a weekend, be like, I'm happy now. It's a weekend. But little did I realize that I'm completely outside the window of the norms of the when you should or when you shouldn't. So I learned it just 2 days ago. That's why I'm running very slowly and learning, but I understand what you're saying.
Especially if you want to find the real deal, because this is something you cannot keep upright. Because those games, it cannot be like that all the time, Because if you start dating, then they realizing that's not you, right? You pretend to play games. That's not those pickup lines and the pickup theory, which is out there. I read some stuff about that. It's really interesting because it's about how to build attraction, pull back thing, and it really works psychologically. It can work for certain situations, but I always said it's not me, right? I want to be myself still but it's up to everyone. But
yeah, no, I can completely, I can see people enjoying it and like playing the game and seeing what the results would be of the game, but a lot of people that might be their lifestyles and that's how they like to go. But it's more fun to just be yourself, but that's just personal. And seeing a person just takes you for who you are, rather than. But that's only reason I say that is because I got no knowledge of the games or the messages or the right timeline and not the right timeline. Myself, I just thankful to my friend therefore yesterday who actually gave me knowledge about one of the apps, and it was fun. It was like no jokes. It felt like I'm playing a game. I was on it for like maybe a minute or two for him, and it was enjoyable. And then I was like, okay, this is great. Let's get food. Like I'm hungry. Even when you're talking about pineapple, I was like, ooh, pineapple and ham would go amazing together. But let me ask you guys a quick question before we end this one, because we're also a bit tight on time. What are your fond memories, or not fond, let's say funny ones that you still remember from like all the experiences you had? It could be online chatting, it could be dating somebody, but what are the ones that you remember, or they were funny, or they were not? I don't know. Like, what would be like the things that you still remember? With them, but you still remember them. It was kind of a weird, funny experience for you that, or you didn't think it would be go good, but it went well. Talk to me about that. Poopy Head, you take the lead again.
So, I'm Poopy Head.
They should know that by now. Everyone should know that.
Paid attention. Okay, but I will say
running
one.
To the cracks?
One funny instance was at one of my first dates that I had. Not like first dates and since the beginning, but like one of the first dates I had with this girl was actually it's actually one of my most fun first dates ever. But it was helping her move from she was living in Brooklyn at the time to Queens. So basically, it was meeting up with her to help disassemble what is it called, the
Whatever?
bed frames,
Okay.
the bed frames, and then everything else in her apartment, and then bringing it down maybe 3 flights of stairs through the hallway, through the car, and then putting it on the inside the car, and then from there she drove us to her new apartment, and then from there I also helped set it up, which was a very interesting first date because I feel like most first dates are like, hey, let's just meet up for lunch or dinner or something, and then you kind of had the whole like. So, some people have a routine. They're like, oh, they talk about like, I don't know, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do for a living? Da 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 da. But this one was just a whole different dynamic because you're already going into a situation where you have to help her. So we don't even have time to talk about, oh, what do you do for work? Da 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 da. Like it was literally just conversation about, hey, do you need help with this, this, this? And then in between there, we kind of just had banter about like, why are you doing this to the pillow or to the bed? Like, why are you like setting it up this way? Like we should organize it this way. And then just on the road, we just talk about stuff we notice on the highway. Like, oh my God, that guy drives so fast. It's crazy how New Yorkers are these days, right? I'm like, oh my God. And then we talked about food and stuff. And it just created a very special and unique kind of dynamic that you would not get in most first date situations. So I thought that was a very fun and interesting experience that I had because it was something that really set a good first impression, and I think that had a really good start towards the rest of the relationship or connection that we had.
Did you then try to do with everybody? Let's move together.
I try to.
That's your
do
pickup
something.
line.
I'm like,
Let's
hey,
move
if you need to
together.
move, I'm here.
As a furniture
need
to
muscles?
move.
Exactly, yeah. But no, that was the first and only time that I had a situation as moving. But that was really interesting.
And it's the person that I know of?
No, you have not met her, but
wow, interesting.
but we ended things on a good note, I would say. But
Okay.
yes,
How long did you guys?
about 3 or 4 months.
Well, pretty good.
But it was a good time.
Okay, didn't mean to go into much detail.
Yeah. But what about you, porta potty?
Yes, good switch.
So your pickup line would be like, do you have to move your bed frame? I can help you with.
You haul, me haul.
He will haul it for you.
Okay.
And you can lie down on it and he's got the strength.
Okay, I'm not telling you guys how many dates I had with that person, but
Ah.
basically,
He got something. Anyway.
no, I mean, I was staying at her place, and then the next day she had to go for work, and I was lucky I had a day off, so and she was like, well, take your time, no rush, right? Enjoy my apartment and make you feel comfortable.
Yes.
And I had the kind of a drive back, so I was like, okay, I was tired, so I slept on the couch a bit, just my boxers, and was sleeping on the couch. And before I asked her, like, is there?
You good?
Okay.
We're just joking.
For the record, that's not true.
Good say.
Okay. So I was asking her before, hey, is there someone might come into your apartment? Like, no, never someone coming to my Wow.
Oh.
So you imagine me sleeping in my boxes on the couch.
Yeah.
The door opens, and her mom comes in. And
this is interesting.
so I'm waking up and look at her. Lucky there was a towel, so a sheet. So I took the sheet on me, like, hi, and nice to meet you. You might be the mom, right? I said, oh yeah, I didn't know that she has someone over. Blah, blah. I'm so sorry if I knew that. It's like, and it was funny because she brought something for Easter to her. And then I was texting her. I was like, well, guess who came into your apartment? Your mom. She said, no, seriously, she never does that. That's so funny. I was like, yeah, that's funny.
Okay, that's good.
But we had a really nice chat there. It was like, hey, let me quickly. And she was really easygoing. And then we had a quick chat. It was just so funny because it was really not. I didn't expect it that. It was like, but it was funny. We had a good chat, and then she went home.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it was funny moment. Yeah.
You have another one you'd like to share?
Maybe, but not for today.
All right, then I think it's a wrap. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for this one, and we'll come with more at a later date. Take care.
Bye.